Hello, everybody. Welcome one, welcome all, and welcome back to the Believe in Iowa State podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Carter.
And I'm your host, Cody Mazzillo.
Cody, you have big news. Take it away.
So as of Monday morning, Iowa State Athletics, they have made the decision to discontinue the women's gymnastics program. This, to me, was not surprising given what had happened early in the year with the suspension of the season earlier in the year. A message was from so they announced this on Monday, or in the official statement here from the athletics website reads, the Iowa State University Athletics Department will discontinue its women's gymnastics program and replace it with another sport that provides equal or additional participation opportunities for women. The endowed Iowa State Director of Athletics, Jamie Pollard, today, they released an 8-minute video kind of describing with Jamie Pollard kind of talking about how they got to this issue or how they got to this decision and whatnot. Basically went on saying the internal conflicts that have been going on within the gymnastics program between athletes, their families, and administrative staff have been going on like this entire year. Basically led them to make this decision to discontinue the program. And I mean, after that, Iowa State Twitter was kind of it was a firestorm. It was a firestorm after this announcement had been made. I first saw this from Ben Hutchins from the Quad City Times when he reported this happening, and basically so he's got from his article in the Quad City Times reads why the gymnastics season was canceled. Basically says the decision to suspend the season resulted from a series of internal conflicts between individual teammates, coaching staff members, and parents. And the big thing here for athletes that are currently on the team or who are expected to be recruited, that were going to be the incoming recruiting class, they'll have the option to remain at Iowa State to complete their degree, and their athletic scholarships will be honored. So current athletes who decide to stay at Iowa State will have all the benefits that they've had while they were here as a student athlete. So that won't change. They'll have continued access to all support services and benefits that were previously available to them as a member of the gymnastics team. And that also falls in line for the 2027 academic year. So the incoming recruits for that year. Also, the entire coaching staff for the gymnastics team has been notified that they will not be renewed. So they will not be returning to Iowa State. And for those who are not familiar with the women's gymnastics program, they had been around for 53 years. They have won 4 conference championships. Most recently, in 2006, they had also gone to 2 NCAA Super Six tournaments, and that's the farthest that they gone. So kind of think of that as like the Elite Eight or the Final Four for women's gymnastics. Actually, I think that would be your championship or whatever. I don't recall that. And then Iowa State, they're going to basically take the next several months to research and come up with plans for how they can replace those gymnastics scholarships with other scholarships.
Yeah.
And I mean, the 2 sports that most people are throwing around are women's wrestling and women's hockey.
Yeah.
What sport would you rather have if you were in this position? Would you rather have women's wrestling or women's hockey?
To me, I'd rather have women's hockey, but if, as an athletic director, you're always going to try to find something that will probably be similar cost wise. So in that sense, wrestling probably would be the go-to that I would do as an athletic director, mainly because of the popularity of women's wrestling, the fact that we're in the state of that we're in the state of Iowa where wrestling is king. And the fact that the wrestling team is already going to be getting a facility built in the next few years, they'll be able to split time with the men's wrestling team. I think that that's a slam dunk right there. So I'd say with women's wrestling.
Yeah, for sure. I would personally like women's wrestling. I mean, back to this whole gymnastics drama. We've had numerous messages come out, and this is from former coaches. Haley Young, who was a former assistant head coach at Iowa State, basically posted on her story. And if you're watching the stream, you can see her story on Instagram. But for those who aren't, I'm going to read out what she says here in her Instagram story. Heartbroken. This video is BS. Everyone knows what that stands for. Unreconcilable differences. Give me a break. Hold your leadership accountable. Hold yourself accountable. This statement is a joke. Unbelievable. And a message saying that she loves cycling gymnastics forever. There was also another message from a former assistant, Samantha Snyder, basically said, heart is broken. Forever love these girls and every memory that has been made and tier that has been put into this year. Terrible that this is the result of the lack of support from Iowa State athletic administration. For the last 5 months, we have come forward as a team regarding certain situations and environment concerns, and nothing has been done to protect us as athletes on this team. The gymnast should not be blamed or being sharing any part of responsibility for the decision being made. Bigger and better things ahead for every girl in this program. And another former assistant coach, Ryan Snyder, also on Instagram, said, "Sad day for the sport. Shame on that entire Iowa State athletic department. All you had to do was take accountability for hiring the wrong person. How many athletes, coaches, and parents went to administration and told you about Ashley? Ashley was the then current head coach of the gymnastics team. You have issues in every sports. It's college athletics. You're dealing with young humans in the most influential part of their lives. The issue recently with gymnastics, you hired a used car salesman to lead a store D1 program. And what other sport or professional does hiring someone with zero experience make sense? So clearly, there's
Mm.
just been a lot of tea and drama that has been going on with this. And I even recently saw a message from a former a former gymnast who I actually shared I was in great relationship with Hannah Loyam, recently alum of the gymnastics program. Her message, she put this on Twitter, Jam- and this is a letter, reads, Jamie Pollard and members of the athletic department, I never personally saw you in Bayer Hall or at Hilton Coliseum supporting our gymnastics team during my time as a student athlete. You felt like a stranger to us. When my teammates and I were in serious need of transparency, support, and leadership, we made the difficult decision to approach you and your staff directly. We were met with silence, dismissal, and ultimately the consequences of decisions that deeply affected us. The generic emails and lack of honesty, both during and after my collegiate career, have spoken volumes. Leadership requires presence, accountability, and a willingness to listen. That is not what we experience. I am genuinely concerned for the future of women's sport that may replace ours. Those athletes deserve protection, transparency, and advocacy. Title IX compliance should be the baseline, not the ceiling. Student athletes deserve leaders who see them more as more than numbers on a balance sheet. Accountability matters. The truth matters. Do better. So that is what her message is. And I mean, and it's just not that, but I mean, a lot of drama is being thrown out, and people are like trying to make their own like conspiracy theories on why this got discontinued. And also for context, that was mentioned in the Jamie Pollard video, this has been this issue with gymnastics has been going on since 2018 because there were two
Boy.
separate investigations in 2018 and 2023 related to Title IX violations, things like that. I remember 2018 is related to some of the gymnasts encountering a former coach of a known gymnastics gym here in the state of Iowa, specifically in West Des Moines. That was part of a broader investigation into a former coach who was alleged having charges of abuse against the athletes.
Wow.
So that was the 2018 report, excuse me. And I think in 2023, there were more Title IX violations. It had to do with like facilities and things like that. And also the hiring process of the new coach, Miles Grieg. So you had that being thrown. And then what's one thing that has been thrown on the Iowa State Twitter base is the allegations that the team, like all the athletes, have been going out partying, underage drinking, getting in trouble with the law. And me personally, and I'll say this, I find that absolutely BS. Because if that was true, that would have been I would have known about it way before this happens. And also, you can't cut an entire program just from that alone. This had to have been built up from years upon years
Mm-hmm.
of negligence, and that's what I personally
Right.
view it for. And also back to kind of the sources. Yeah, the person who had been thrown we know exactly who we're talking about
Mm-hmm.
on Twitter. Like people are throwing that around saying, "Oh, it's all the fault of the athletes." Like, okay, can the athletes take some blame? Whatever, possibly,
Right.
but this does ultimately fall on leadership failing to put people in the right spots. And I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Snyder did bring up a good point. This Ashley Miles Greek, this was her first gig as a head coach in women's gymnastics. So there were kind of skepticisms about that, and there were more issues. I mean, we have to go about the facilities. Like literally, for one of my student clubs, we are right next to the gymnastics facility, and I can tell you right now that thing does not look the most modern. And I feel like there are quite a few safety concerns. I've taken a tour, I've seen it. I haven't
Yeah.
personally been inside of it, but from the outside looking in, yeah, you have all this stuff, but also there are concerns clearly made by athletes, and it seems like that was ignored. And I mean, I'm still also waiting to hear from another. I know because I know like another alum of the gymnastics program. She had sent an email to the head coach, and like we're waiting on that. So I'm waiting to hear back from her and like my close friend
Mm,
who like we know her as well. So like I've known about this, and I mean I even asked Hannah Loy. I'm like, and she was asking me like she wants like, and I mean people want Jamie Pollard gone from this. There
man,
are people
yeah,
out, yeah,
this is a whole saga. I remember the whole movement after, after Matt Campbell left, that whole entire saga, and now people sort of are like sort of skeptical, especially with you've seen you've seen the whole stuff. I think it was on CBS News saying
yeah,
that apparently Ohio State wants TJ Otzelberger and
yep.
all that. So it's just a whole whirlwind of stuff. Plus, we have Sidetown opening next year. So
Hmm.
who knows if this is going to be like a swan song, or who knows? It's going to be something to definitely pay attention to in the next year or two. But thank that elite reporting by you on this.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, and also real quick, I just saw this too. Former Iowa State head coach and current Oklahoma head coach, if I'm correct, Jay Kindler had been warning about facility issues within the practice facility for 20 years. This has been a thing. Like she had been warning about this for 20 years because she is a former gymnast of that program, and she had also been a former coach from 2001 to 2006. So she has known about this, and she spoke out too. I don't have the exact tweet, like her exact statements, but she called out the leadership as well and the failure to be attentive about this. So I mean, I saw people like throwing out like some like people were saying Iowa State gymnasts could potentially sue Iowa State for Title IX violations, and I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. So this is just an
Man,
ongoing thing that like put that aside. I feel for these students, like I feel for all like any student
hmm,
athlete. Like imagine going to your like one day and learning that like your program gets cut.
right. Yeah, that's
And
messed up.
yeah, and obviously me having like these relationships with like some of these gymnasts because I've got to know them pretty well and not got like be good friend like I'm decently connected with them. So they've been telling me like obviously Hannah has been telling me about like her view of this. And I'm still waiting to hear from a few others. And obviously the all the alum have come out in support of the athletes. So this in entirety. And I mean, like what this could be worrying. This could be potential worrying about any women's sports because now somebody had
Yeah,
thrown out like something that happened with like the volleyball program. Like I have no clue about that. Somebody had just thrown it out randomly, and I'm like, I would have to look more into that. But just this
yeah.
whole like situation, and I mean, just I gotta like these athletes. Like at the end of the day, yeah, they're not like these athletes deserve so much better, and it's a shame that like failed leadership has like, well, at least from what I've seen, has led to this point, like years of negligence.
Yeah, unfortunately, when you let Legends run amok, this is what you get. Unfortunately, so I'm
Yeah,
hoping the best for these
yeah.
athletes and their futures.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I do hope for, they number 1 get this year back, and number 2, they all find a home, and if they do decide to, stay at Iowa State, I'm like, whether they stay at Iowa State or go, I'm like, if they're like, I'll be like, their decision, like, they gotta do what's best for them, and I think some of the, like, Iowa State athletes, some of the Iowa State gymnasts have already entered the portal. I wasn't surprised about that. I know some are probably gonna stay to complete their degree, but overall, this is just a shitty situation.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. Right, Cody. Thank you for that reporting on that. We definitely will be have more info on you that for within the coming weeks.
Yeah.
We will be on the prowl on this one.
Mhm.
With the Believe in I Say podcast. All right.
Yep.
So we are here mainly because y'all know why you're here. We are talking about recapping the 73-57 loss for the Iowa State Cyclones in Tucson against the Arizona Wildcats. Arizona, they celebrated the Big 12 regular season championship on the court. Man, this game cannot be any uglier for the Cyclones.
Yeah, I think enough time has passed. I think. I mean, what else is there to say other than the ball's got to go into the basket.
Yeah, you're right.
And obviously, like the big thing for this is like, I mean, this is like, and also this is like more of like if we look at this just from this game specifically, you got what you wanted. Like you were able to get on the glass and get those offensive boards. but you failed to convert those, and then you just could not buy a bucket at all from the floor. Joshua Jefferson had his worst game. This was his worst game of the year, no doubt. Like 2 of 17 from the floor, 0 of 5 from the perimeter, and just some puzzling decisions, to put it one way. Um, there is this there is just sequences where he should be going up to get a strong to go for a layup, but instead I remember this, and we were watching this, we were doing a watch, and boy oh boy, I let my my raw emotion, I was feeling it in this game, because there was a sequence where Joshua Jefferson had the basketball. He was on the left, in the left corner. He drives to the basket, and then calls for, all of a sudden he just passes the ball, and it leads right to a turnover, and Arizona gets an easy, was it a 3 or whatever? It was at least a 5-point swing. It
Yeah,
was
that
just
was
that was just
insane.
the play that summarized this game entirely. It's like you had a chance to win this game, and you just chucked it away.
Yeah, I mean, and this is also a game once again, Cody, where dude, you want to know what our free throw percentage was? Dude, we shot
90%.
we shot 92%.
Listen, you you know what? You know what? Listen, I know it's cost us a couple games, but the free throw shooting, listen, if there's one positive that I have, this. I mean, at least we're starting to round up, and we had been asking for them to be making the free throws, and they are doing that.
I mean, yeah, there's no, it's just funny that now that we've fixed our free throws, now we're not,
we
now
can't buy a bucket.
We can't buy a bucket now. What is going on? Why can we never fix anything at once?
We can never have everything go right at the same time. That's so running dope. But I mean, if you do look at it from that, I mean, it is good that we are making our free throws, because free throws are what gets you wins in important in pressure situations in March, is making your free throws. That's one of them. And then guards win in March. Boy oh boy, the guards have struggled. Killian Torrey, an absolute 0 on offense, basically. Nate Heisey, a 0 on offense. Jamari Bateman actually had a nice game. I mean, he was chucking it up, but I like that. I mean, he went 4-10 from 3, so I do like that. I like Jamari Bateman can be a steady presence. Tamin Lipsey did make a couple threes. One of his better games of the year. But, I mean, the guards as a whole, yeah, that, I think for sure. And we did get some Dominic Nelson run. So, and I mean, we had always been why change anything now? But I think maybe there is a way to implement Dom Nelson into this, into the rotation. Get him 5 to 10 minutes. Get quick 7 or 8 points. That could honestly help. And why not mess around with it on Senior Day? And we'll get to Senior Day later. Yeah, the emergence of this steadiness of Jamari Bateman, I do like. We can get that from him, and then Lipsey played one of his better games. But we gotta something needs to be said about offensive game plan. Something needs to change, because we cannot keep bashing our heads on a wall like this, where Killian Torrey is being treated like freshman year Lipsey. They're not guarding him; they're daring him to shoot. Yeah, I think Bateman I don't think you swap out Bateman for the start. I think you still have Torrey to start, but you do give Jamari Bateman more run. I do like that. But I mean, Heisey definitely and Lipsey too. Both of them probably need to step it up more, considering this is their last year. You're not gonna get anything more after this.
Yeah, and this is a good thing, at least for Torrey, to build on into going into this offseason, coming into next year. But man, let's look at this, and because just the other upsetting thing, this is also a game where you force Arizona to turn the ball over 15 times.
Yeah,
and
15 turnovers. But
rebounding wise, you hung in there with them. I mean,
yeah,
you had 15 rebounds combined from Blake Buchanan and Joshua Jefferson offensively, and then 6 rebounds from them. So that's already, I mean, 6 rebounds from Lipsey. So you hung in there with them on the boards like we were supposed to, but unfortunately the ball didn't go in the basket.
Yeah. So I mean, this game wasn't for a lack of effort. I know, if you truly think this game was a lack of effort, you're crazy. You need to just go outside, touch some grass, and realized that this was one of the this was just your absolute low offensively when you just couldn't buy a bucket. And I mean, we also have to talk about Milan Momcilovic. Like, he got only 5 points. He wasn't doing anything. And this is something too that I think some people are talking about. It's like, this goes to like kind of how Milan is like guarded. They basically are like glue. Like, they're glued to Milan Mitrovic because they know that outside of Milan, nobody else has really been an offensive threat. So they're just gonna sag off everybody and basically triple team Milan and basically be glued to him. But also, he's basically getting held like it was a defensive holding in football every single time Iowa
Like,
State's an offense. And I think this too needs to, like, TJ Ottenberger. This goes into coaching. He needs to let the officials know that Milan is literally getting held like it's football all game and make the officials call it. hmm For sure. But I mean, I think at this point, everything's already been said about this game. There's probably nothing else we really could say about it because
nah.
it's been a couple days. I think
Yeah.
everybody's behind it, and we could probably flush this one down the toilet. The double bye is like not like Iowa State is certainly a lock for the 5 seed in Kansas City, and probably a lock for the 3 seed in the NCAA tournament. So
12.
yep. Yeah. So I mean, as of right now, the top 4 seeds would be Arizona, Houston, Texas Tech, and Kansas. I believe it will be in that order.
Yep. Right. Yeah, so here it is. Right
And I mean,
here.
I know, like, there is still 8, like, Iowa State mathematically can still get the 4 seed and get that double bye, but it's going to require mainly Kansas State to go in at Fog Allen and beat Kansas. And no one in their right mind will say that that's going to happen.
Look, I will say this. After the craziness of last night, anything can happen. I don't even I that's what I'll say. I'm not saying that it will happen. All I'm
Yep.
saying is that, yeah, here it is right here. Obviously, this is in written format, not in actual. But here's game one, 12 versus 13, 9 versus 16. And then on Tuesday, we have 10 versus 15, 11 versus 14. Game
Yep.
5, which would be at 11:30, which is the Iowa State versus whoever won game 1.
Yep.
And then
So I've got, like, on the screen, so presenting. This is from this is MRed's Big 12 like random seed generator. I always love playing around with this, like, in this situation, this list. But yeah, so basically, all the games are lined up. Yeah, and Iowa State. Well, this is if Kansas State beats Kansas, Iowa State would get the 4 seed. But if we're like, so we're assuming that we're gonna reset this and go back and just, like, say Kansas beats Kansas State, Iowa State would play on Wednesday at 11:30. So we'd
mhm.
be the first game up. And basically, the matchup would be, we would get presumably the winner of Arizona State Baylor. And I mean, before we talk about Arizona State and Senior Day, actually, well, speaking of them, they were part of a wild Big 12 Tuesday. Yep.
We thought it was just going to be just a typical Wednesday night in the Big 12, but boy oh boy, it was not that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, there was a lot of action that went down in terms of, like, Big 12 seeding, bubble teams, whatnot. So, I mean, we might as well just start off right at the top. Texas Tech drops a game at home to TCU 73-65. And TCU basically is, like, making sure that they can be in the NCAA tournament. So this is a huge win for them to separate themselves a little bit in the bubble. So, I mean, Texas Tech, I mean, with huge wins over, I mean, yeah, Iowa State. Trying to think who else. Like, they have, like, some, like, key wins. Duke, yep, beat Houston. They did win against the BYU and beat Arizona in Tucson. So, and I mean, TCU they're kind of like the wild card team of this conference because you don't know what version of them you're gonna get. Yeah, and I mean, I saw the Ryan Hammer tweet on talking about TCU. They're like one of the most confusing teams in this tournament
Mhm.
because of like the wins they have, but also the losses they have. So TCU, very confusing team, but they did get this huge win for them and their NCAA tournament resume. And yeah, uh, and I mean, we're just getting started with the chaos. Oklahoma State takes UCF to overtime and wins that game 111 to 104.
Yeah, I believe that is Oklahoma State's highest point output of the season, especially when you consider that we went down there and won by like almost 40 points. That isn't it was absolutely bananas. I'm like, wait a minute, UCF went to overtime with who?
Yeah,
And like,
I
wow, man,
I'm concerned.
I don't even know what to say.
I'm concerned for UCF's tournament hopes because after this loss, because they're one of those bubble teams, and we had thought like they would be like one of those teams that could sneak in as like an 8 or 9 seed. Now that might be a little bit of concern after dropping this game to Oklahoma State. Kansas State beats West Virginia and basically pops West Virginia's bubble chances of going to the NCAA as a bubble team.
Yeah, K State is just that team of chaos where they're just going to be playing free because they have nothing to play for. So they're going to be like, well, we're going to ruin your season.
Might as well, I guess.
Yeah.
But that game, Kansas State won 65-63 in the octagon of gloom.
Yes, the Octagon Club.
In a nothing burger for both teams. Colorado beats Utah 92-78. Bank on Dak with a double-double, 22 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 blocks. I really just don't care about this game. There was really not much. BYU's odd year continues. They lose at Cincinnati 90-68.
That is bad. That is bad.
Yeah. Here's the thing. As I always say, people, I know we lost to Cincinnati, but we at least try to make it somewhat of a game late. This was just Cincinnati taking BYU to the woodshed. This game was never close.
I mean, they've just gone on an absolute just free fall ever since they beat Iowa State at home. We thought it was going to build into something. Now it's just a straight nosedive. And maybe it's safe to say that maybe that was a dead cat bounce where they beat Iowa State. And after that, it just seems like we're the kiss of death for every team, dude. Every time everybody beats Iowa State, they lose.
They lose some weird ass game.
We're the kiss of death.
Somehow, some way. I mean, what? The most recent example, we just lost to Texas Tech. And what they do right after, they drop a game at home to TCU. Let's see, beat BYU. So, well, after BYU beats us, they've dropped 3 straight to UCF, at West Virginia, and at Cincinnati. And then what was that? The next loss would have been what? I'm trying to think. TCU. Well, TCU was just, we didn't know what to expect. That was one of the worst games I had ever seen out of this year. TCU's a wild card, so I don't know how I could really chalk up that.
Yeah.
Well, Cincinnati, I mean, now that they've turned their season around, but I mean, after beating us, they kind of went on that slide, and then you had the whole Wes Miller apology video in the tunnel, and they've turned around since. And then Kansas, well, they did Kansas things.
Yeah, they did Kansas things. Yeah, I can't explain this, but they lost 70-60 to Arizona State on the road.
Bobby Hurley and company. That's not even the main story. That's not even the main story. This is the second time that Arizona State has beaten a top 15 team in Big 12 play alone and has stormed the court. But that's not even the main story of this. So our good friend Doug Servants, I believe, he was one of the officials in that game. So he had just officiated our game the day before. And the main story of that was Bill Self getting ejected in the first half.
Wow.
But I mean, this video, this is even funnier. I mean, this is just Bill. So for those not watching, this is on Curtis Rogers on Twitter. So Bill Self just gets ejected after a call on Darren Peterson. But watch what they do.
Pop the smoke! He's gone.
Okay, but here's the thing. That wasn't the only time a coach had but also one of the assistants had gotten a technical foul in this game as well for Kansas. Jack Vaughn got a technical in the second half. I mean, at one point, Arizona State was leading this game by 20.
Yeah, they've led 40-20 at halftime.
Yep. Kansas makes a storm. Like they storm back. I believe they cut the lead to 3 at one point. But I mean, Arizona State was able to hold them off. And I mean, this might as well. This didn't go on. And honestly, Kansas. What do you even think of Kansas after this?
And I guess you got to look at them for what they've been.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody looks at Kansas for what they could be, but you have to look for this year. You have to look at Kansas for what they have been, which is they've been a good but not great team. Like obviously that 8-game winning streak seems like it was sort of a mirage, because they're not playing like that team that won 7 or 8 in a row
Mm-hmm.
before they played Iowa State. So like,
Right.
I mean,
They were sounding like what we were sounding like after like during the Arizona game. Yeah, things are horrendous there. One guy like, and this might as well honestly. I mean, there is one more game that happened before Saturday. Houston Baylor, that's going on tonight, and I really don't think I need to take too much stock in it. Houston should just beat the piss out of Baylor. Yeah, but back to Arizona State. I mean, they're the next team up for us, so we might as well take a look at them. One guy that we have to look out for, Mo Odom. Um, in this game against Kansas, 23 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds. He went 8 of 10 from the free throw line, 5 of 10 from the perimeter. So that's a guy Iowa State has to look out for as a potential problem. Masamba Chop, 19 points and 9 rebounds. So he'll be in the paint, kind of controlling it. I mean, at one point he held Floyd Badunga to only 2 points.
wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, he held, and he also held Bryson Tiller. Bryson Tiller was held to only 3 points in this game. Mm-hmm. And I mean, back to this, you know how bad we shot from three against
Yes.
Arizona. Kansas shot about the same from three.
Jeez.
Yeah, they shot 29% from the field as a whole, 27% or 26% from three. So they shot about as well as we did against Arizona.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so I mean, Bobby Hurley, I don't know if this saves his job. I wouldn't expect it to. Maybe, maybe not. But I mean, senior day, like, I mean, if you're Iowa State, you just need to absolutely like just run over Arizona State. Give some confidence back to the fan base and show that you can still be the team that you were when you started the year 15-0 or 16-0, whatever it was. Show them that you can be that team. Show them you can be the same team that beat team average to below average teams by 30 in February, early February. So for Iowa State, I think this senior day, it's more about Iowa State and what they can do to really reaffirm the fans that things will be fine and they're still a really good team. So I mean, there's probably not. I don't know what else to really say. There's probably not too
There's
much.
not really much else to say about this matchup. We got to go out there and not give them any hope at all.
Yeah,
Obviously, one of the stats that stands out to me is they average 4.7, almost 5 blocks a game, which is insane.
yeah.
But we average almost 9 steals a game. So
So
I think this is going to be a game where you see either Killian Torrey get a few steals or Tamin get a lot of steals,
yeah,
get a lot of points in transition. I think Milan will go back to his old self,
yeah,
and I think that Iowa State will cruise
yeah.
to victory on senior day.
I think this is a game where you gotta get back to what got you up to like this point, like what has
Right.
succeeded for you, and obviously, and who knows, maybe you can tinker around with the lineup a little bit. You might as well give Jameer
Yes.
Bateman run, maybe give him 30 minutes. Give Don Nelson 8 to 10 minutes in this game. See what he can do to open up some lanes and whatnot, because maybe that's something that you're missing. And listen, we've had like a criticism of Don Nelson why he hasn't played in but I mean, he could still bring something, and we just hopefully can see it. Like even in the short spurt that he had against Arizona, granted it was a garbage time, but still, you saw just what he can do for you. So why not try it? I mean, it's senior day. He's a senior. Eric Moore's a senior. Nate Heisey's a senior. Josh Jefferson's a senior, and most importantly, Tamin Lipsey. This is going to be his last game at Hilton in an Iowa State uniform.
With that, we just said, let's take just a look back at the senior class. I think this is really just good, well, at least with this part of the show, to really, really recognize them. Like it honestly seems like just yesterday, because you remember that Tamin Lipsey was, I believe, one of the first recruits to get in the 2022 recruiting class because remember everyone was worried because remember that was like the beginning of NIL way, way, way back when we had Tyrese Hunter, and that was after the first year of the TJ Otzelberger era, which seems so long ago,
Mhm.
4 years ago, which is nuts.
Yeah.
But, like, you remember back to that where TJ had to give, Tamin Lipsey a phone call and because who knows, everybody in the Midwest wanted him, and he was able to secure to secure, Tamin Lipsey in that 2022 recruiting class. So, Tamin is one of the building blocks to where Iowa State is today. Like, Iowa State is here mainly because of him, Mr.
I mean, he's like one of the last of the dying breed, which is those like guys that stay at one school their entire year in this era. I mean, he's been here all 4 years. He's been through like the highs we've had, the lows we've had. He's been a constant for Iowa State and the things he's done for this universe, like for the team. I mean, even this year alone, I mean, probably the signature play for him this year would be the Houston offensive board to win us that game, and he's had his moments. So, I mean, a lot is going to be missed when Tamin Lips like after this game for Tamin Lipsey. Like, it's just going to be a weird feeling around Iowa State because it's like she had this guy for all 4 years, but now you're on a new era, so it's like it's actually he's no longer wearing an Iowa State uniform. Yeah,
He's one of also the reasons why we're here and the reason why we had a good season last year.
yeah.
Just a solid player, um, and, at his best, is can be one of the top players in the nation.
I mean, in his like at his absolute best, he is like deserving to be in the talks of the Naismith Player of the Year with like the likes of Cameron Boozer, AJ
Uh-huh.
DeMinster, and all those guys. Like when he's at his absolute best. So I mean, that's one thing I hope for is like Jefferson like is able to just turn it like to to turn that like boat on and like to kind of like do that because like when he plays his absolute best, Iowa State's at his absolute best.
Definitely.
And I mean, third, Mr. Nate Heisey, 4-year guy out of Northern Iowa, so very just kind of around the area. We bring him in the same transfer portal class as we did Joshua Jefferson. So kind of one of those guys that's like I mean, they don't call him the glue guy for no like they don't call him the glue guy for no reason. Like he does the dirty work, and I mean the running joke we've had like the last 2 years is for some reason Nate Heisey likes turning on it during Black History Month.
February is usually when he turns it on, so
Mhm.
really, really excited to see what he can do in the Big 12 tournament and upcoming in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, hopefully Nate Heisey, like, could just go out and, like, light it up, and I mean, like, this is has to, like if he does, like, some turn it on and he can, like, get Iowa State to a Final Four and maybe, just maybe, this is a long shot, win a national title. The Thanksgiving dinner with him and his, older sister, Taylor Heisey, they're gonna have some interesting conversations.
I won a gold medal. Well, I won a national championship.
Yeah, that's basically the Heisey family chat right now. And imagine just from the pure like look of it. Imagine like Iowa State, like you have a national champion winner Nate Heisey, and then you can also flex that like his older sister is basically an honorary Cyclone at this point.
Basically, yeah, she is.
So yeah,
Because I
and I
get
mean
she probably will be at the game tomorrow.
yeah that on Saturday. So
Or I mean Saturday, sorry.
you must
I
already
don't
think
know
it's Friday.
why.
Good lord.
Yeah, damn. It's only
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Yeah. And then, I mean, also the two other seniors we have, Eric Mulder and Dom Nelson. Eric Mulder, Oski kid, didn't really get like those two. Like Dom Nelson, like definitely had his moments like against Purdue in Vegas, so he had those moments for sure. And I mean, he basically was a part of like why we were able to kind of open a gap against Purdue and just pour it on him. Was like his points off the bench.
As much as I said that we need to let the whole Dom Nelson thing die, he may end up being a bigger playing a bigger
Yeah,
role in the
it may play a
postseason
difference
than
as to
what we
why.
thought. So I am proud to be wrong about that. So
Yeah. I was not familiar with the game.
maybe he will be a bigger piece than what I thought.
And then for Eric Mulder, we say this right now. Eric Mulder is a better shooter from three than Mila Momcilovic. Just stop the count right now. Just give him all the awards.
Stop the count. 100% free throw shooter.
That shot against
One
like
hundred
against
percent
Kansas State, I was
three-point
like,
shooter.
that
Insane.
was pure. No back backboard, no bouncing off the rim. That thing was pure net.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just wanted to say from the Believe in Our Sick crew, we're gonna miss these seniors, and we thank you guys for deciding to be Cyclones and bringing your guys' talents to Ames. All right, Cody, are going to take a look now at some bracketology because I believe some things have changed within the last few weeks or within the last week.
Yeah, so, I mean, I've been just trying to keep up with, like, different bracketologists, so the I think the consensus around Iowa State, like, around our fan base is, like, we are, like, kind of, like, are in the 3 seed line. We can still fight for a 2, that requires some work, but I think it's safe to say we are comfortably a 3 seed.
Yeah, which is fine, because now, luckily, we didn't drop down to a 4 seed, so we'll have to play a 1 seed to get in the Sweet 16. So we'll still have a matchup between the 2 seed. Really just matters of can we look at like a bracket and see possibly who we could face?
Yeah, so I'm looking at 8-1 bracketology's kind of projections, so this would have likely been after this is March 3rd, so this is right after Big Monday, so this was before, um, all the Big 12 chaos. So Iowa State is currently projected according to T3 or 8-1 bracketology, excuse me, as a 3 seed in the East region. Second round matches will be in St. Louis, and we would go up against Troy in the first round, and then face the winner of Kentucky. Would face either Kentucky, Ohio State, or New Mexico, and then the Sweet 16 matchup for us. Well, Michigan State. Nice to see you here again.
So basically,
Yeah. Oh yeah, and justice for Larry Stacy. Yeah, yeah.
Emma would be juicy.
Or I feel like Arkansas could beat Alabama. I think Arkansas would get the win over Bama. I feel like
I
it'd be
can see that. Yeah, yeah. Arkansas against Coach Cal, that would be interesting. A
Mhm.
very athletic matchup but probably it'll probably end up being Duke. Has
Yeah.
been absolutely amazing for the entire year, and they're
God.
probably going to win the Natty.
You know
But we'd have to go through
what would
Duke.
be the most toxic timeline is if somehow Iowa and Iowa State matched up in DC.
No, in the Sweet 16. Oh no, 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 because
Ah,
we do not need that because you want to know what's going to
God,
happen. Dude,
God.
Iowa fan no, we cannot have this timeline because Iowa fans are gonna be annoying about, "Oh, we beat Duke." Yeah, we do not need that timeline, bro.
God, I forget that would be the case, but,
They would
like,
upset Duke in the
Imma be
no,
real.
hell
No.
no. No.
Listen,
Let them get
Bennett
killed
Sturts is
by
good,
Duke.
but he's not good enough to carry Iowa against the athleticism of Cam Boozer and company.
That's what I'm telling you, no. We do not need that timeline.
Dear God, I would hate that time. So, okay, so that would be
Yeah.
our region. So we'd be in
I
the
don't know
East.
why you thought that.
Listen, man,
Let it
if
go. Let that
I
die.
I'm letting it die, don't worry, don't worry. I'm over here thinking like that would be the most like just the worst case scenario. That would be the absolute nuclear reactor right there
It would
if
be a
that was
nuclear
to happen.
reactor.
But
It would, yeah.
yeah, but here's the thing. Okay, so outside of Iowa State's region, so do you see anything like in the rest of this bracketology that kind of like peeks out to you?
Let me take a look. Um So, like in the South bracket, you see, maybe in a possible Sweet 16 matchup, or in the round of 32, Tennessee versus Virginia would be a very intriguing matchup in the South bracket, and I think
Mm-hmm.
whoever wins that could definitely give UConn a run for their money in the Sweet 16. And
Mm-hmm.
you look at the possible matchup in the Sweet 16 in the South bracket between Florida and Illinois. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that would be an intriguing matchup there too. And you see TCU facing Louisville. Man, like there's matchups galore in there. I
Mm-hmm.
think you look at Arizona. I mean, Arizona would have to play Texas Tech again, and probably in what in the elite eight. if
Yeah,
Texas Tech even makes it that
that would
far.
be the Elite Eight.
I mean, Tech Wisconsin in the round of 32 would be interesting because I think Wisconsin could beat them. If Tech, if Tech can is still hot with their shooting and gets hot
Yeah,
again with shooting, then they could definitely probably make a run to the Elite Eight again.
yeah.
But I think the wild card probably in that region in the West would probably be North Carolina.
Mm,
I guess because I could see them making a run in Gonzaga, but like I think Arizona and that one should have that cakewalk to the Final Four.
yeah, I
And
mean,
if Arizona doesn't make it this year, then some conversation like after this year that you had and you don't make it to the Final Four, that'd be insane. Um, let's take a look
you
at
know, like what some people have been like throwing out of here. Tommy
what.
Lloyd to Kansas.
Oh yeah,
Well, speaking of Kansas, they find themselves right now as a 4 seed in the Midwest region. They would likely go like they'd be in Philly, and some potential matches for them would be them against Michigan in the Sweet 16, the Elite Eight against Houston. We know how that went last. Then Purdue would be another one, and then maybe even St. John's.
Purdue Houston would be a matchup from last year, and was that in the Sweet 16?
Yeah, that was the Sweet 16. Oh, I remember that. Yeah, yeah. I guess. Yeah,
Being the 3 seed, honestly, these 3 seeds could be intertwined with either us or Purdue. Honestly,
honestly.
honestly, I really think that we could probably be in that region
Hmm.
because Purdue lost to Ohio State at
Yeah.
Ohio State. So I think
Yep.
either it's we're gonna either be intertwined between the East region and the Midwest region. I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So they get
Yeah.
to take a look at that. St. Mary's, I think, gives.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 But yeah. Well, speaking of conference tournaments, I've literally just been like while we've been talking, I literally have had like quad like a dual monitors quad box going with all like these mid-major conference like the
What are you
women's
watching?
tournaments. I've
Tell
got
tell
like
the listeners what you're watching
so
now.
right now I've got like the women's A10 tournament going. I've got the Big 12 women's tournament going on right now. Louisiana UL Monroe. I've got the Ohio Valley going on for the women, and also the ACC. And I think earlier I was watching the A Sun or something. So see, this is a beautiful time, dude. This is the best time of the year. I could just sit on my ass like in some random room. Maybe like maybe during lecture I might be watching some basketball, but like really, I would not.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like as soon as I get off work the first Thursday of March Madness, I'm gonna go to a sports book somewhere and watch games all day after
Yeah.
work.
For sure, for sure. I might just yeah, we'll see what I do, but pretty much I mean, yeah, this is just the beauty of March. I mean, you got all this basketball. It's all over the place. I mean, I might have to get my some brackets ready to go because the bracket challenges are coming up. So, all right. So, I mean, we go back to our bracket. Like, name like a team that could like be like one of those like who could be a Cinderella?
I'm gonna go with St. Mary's. I think
Mm,
St. Mary's could be a team that could make a run. Another team I'm gonna say is St. Louis. If St. Louis
yeah,
can get the right draw, I think St. Louis could definitely be a team that can make a run to like an Elite Eight.
yeah, yeah. I do. I do like St. Louis as well.
Now let's hope and pray that they don't play Iowa State. Let's please let's not.
Well, I mean, I mean, we just had it up earlier. They wouldn't run into us until presumably the Final Four if St. Louis was to somehow get all the way there. And what's funny is St. Mary's and St. Louis would match up in a hypothetical Elite Eight.
Wow. I mean, look, we've seen it before where teams that you didn't really think would make it. But I just after last year, you saw when all top 4 seeds made it. I think that's more likely this year again.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And
we'll have to see.
And here's another wild hypothetical matchup that could happen if the cards fall right. Iowa State, Nebraska in the Final Four.
You want to talk about cinema? Like, man, Fred going up against his former team, and then just
and his former understudy TJ.
the storylines would be elite, man.
Yeah, it just this is what like I'm here. This is why I've been watching this is why I stuck through all those buy games for Iowa State while I was watching some random mid major in the middle of December or January. This is what we're here for. And as a college basketball enthusiast Cole Adams himself says, if you weren't here in November/December, don't bother showing up in March.
Facts. The fact has never been more true. All right, man. Thank you for coming on with me. Thank you everybody for tuning in to the Believe in Iowa State podcast. A big thanks to FanDuel. Make sure if you guys are putting in bets for in the next week or so for conference tournaments or maybe even the edge of
Yeah, I think I renamed it the TJ's ankle boot just so I could just that would be just funny. Just no context, just a picture of TJ Otzelberger at the boot. Yeah. So basically, I might just tweet about the fact. I think most recently I just tweeted about high chai on a Tuesday, and now we have a whole debate about high chai or Panda Express.
high chai going up on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to.
Yeah.
Also, follow us on social media. We can be found on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitch. All right, signing off for Tyler Carter.
And for Cody Van Seal,
this is the Believe in Iowa State podcast.
go Cyclones.
Good show. Good.